Hey, what's going on? It is Decide and Do 264. So I want to talk a little bit about risk this morning. So risk, okay? In everything that we do in life, there's some type of risk, okay? When I woke up this morning, there was a risk that, my day wasn't going to be the way that I wanted it to be. I wasn't going to be able to get things done in the way that I wanted them to be done. When I walk out of the house and I get into the car, there's a risk that I'm taking by getting into a vehicle, being around other vehicles. There's risks in everything, right? You eat something, that might not necessarily agree with your stomach, you're risking the possibility of that. These might seem, small, but they're the realities of everyday life. There's a risk every day when you wake up that, by the end of the day, you might not be there. There's a risk that when you go to bed, you might not wake up. There's risk, okay? So there's risk in everything that we do, in everything. And the reason I say that is because sometimes that keeps us from doing what it is that we want to do in life, right? Because we're so afraid of the risk that we're going to take, or we're not willing to take the risk to go ahead and do what it is that, you want to. And I think when I started, going back to school, I took a big risk because I was afraid, but I took a risk because there was money that was involved with it, and I didn't want to take a class and then not pass the class and then spend the money and waste the money. And that was originally how I went in with, the mindset. And then eventually it was more of, I'm risking having to take this class over if I don't pass it, or I'm risking not to have a good GPA as I continue to get through it. And my mindset, evolved on why I am doing the class, and then at the same time, the risk that I was willing to take with it. And so I sat there and I went through all the classes that I had to do, and I looked at specifics and when I could double up and when I could go ahead and triple up or whatever it may be, because of the risk that I was going to take. I had a goal and I wanted to accomplish it. And then, as I got, better, and as I realized that, I was underestimating myself in many ways when it comes to school. There was less risk that I was willing to take. I wasn't willing to take, too many classes that would, bog me down, and I wouldn't be able to perform at the level that I wanted to. So, when you think about risk, you think about these things all the time. Most of the time, at least, you might think about risk. But when you're looking at the grand scheme, there's going to be risk with everything that you do. And if you hold back just because you're afraid and you're not willing to take certain risks, well, at the end of the day, you're going to go ahead and look, and you're going to see all the missed opportunities that you might have missed. You're going to go ahead and see that, it wasn't as bad as it was. Or you take the risk, all right, and then you realize it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. And that's after, maybe a couple months or a year of not willing to take that risk. And then when you finally do, and you see that it was much easier than it was, now all that time that you wasted behind it. So risk is something that we deal with every single day. All right, there's always going to be risks in life. There's risks, like I said, you can think of a crap ton of risks when it comes to your life. So at the end of it, you have to sit there and you have to make that decision. How much risk am I willing to take? And at the end of it, do I want to go ahead and regret not taking some type of risk for the overall accomplishment that I'm going for, the overall goal that I'm going for? Because sometimes those bite you in the butt. And I wish for me, I would have done things a lot earlier in a few different areas of my life, but I was too afraid and I wasn't willing to take that risk at that time. But on the flip side, I took some risks and it completely backfired. So it just comes with time and experience, and eventually, you'll find your happy medium when it comes to what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, after, you adapt and you adjust your mindset to trying to become a better person overall. So, and not only be a better person overall, but become, as successful as possible. So until my next video, I appreciate you watching Decide and Do.